last night the guys actually put a little surprise together for me. So got some videos from some past players, some friends and family, and Ben in particular stood up and said some really kind words. Then to come today and for us to start the series in the way that we have it couldn't have gone any better. About a little blip at the end there, so really hope that we can build on that tomorrow, and obviously delighted with how things have gone first. I certainly feel like I'm in some good form, and I need to make sure I cash in on it. I think over the course of my career, I've not always gone on and made really big scores, so for me to be going and doing that currently is really pleasing. And the challenge will be, if I keep getting myself in positions to make big hundreds, then I've got to keep taking them, and we're going to win more games if I'm doing that. So hopefully I can kick on tomorrow personally, but most importantly, we can have a better day than today, or match it, and then we can be in a really strong position in this game. I've worked on a few technical things. I've looked at a few areas of my game, looked at certain trends of how I was getting out at certain times in my innings, and tried to eradicate it, tried to improve things and evolve as a player, and at the minute it seems to be working nicely, and the challenge will be, can I continue to keep trying to get better all the time? Yeah, I'll be ready for more tomorrow. I was a little bit cramped, which was a bit frustrating, very kind of her to help me out. Good sportsmanship from him, as you'd expect from him, but it was just felt like quite a long day, and I'm going to have to fuel as well tonight, get some fluids and food on board, and sleep well. Different challenges. I think in Sri Lanka there was obviously a little bit more lateral movement, more spin, side spin, whereas here was more trying to counter the bounce initially against the spinners, and obviously challenging the reverse swing from the seamers. So it was very different, and it's always difficult to try and put two against each other. I think we've got to look to try and get as many as we can, 600-700 if we can. Really try and make the most of the first innings, make it while it's good, and those footholds are starting to wear quite quickly. So if we can bat into the whole of tomorrow and maybe into day 3, then things could speed up quite quickly for us, and you never know what can happen from that point onwards. But ultimately, we've got to try and back up today. It's been a really impressive start to things, but we've got to make it count. And that's going to be the challenge for this team. We said we need to make the first difference. We said we need to bat long periods of time in these conditions. Can we go and do it? And that's all the focus will be going into tomorrow. Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic innings today. Coming out of Sri Lanka with maybe a few question marks in his own mind about his game against spin, and for him to go and put a performance early on in this series like that together against a high quality attack, dealing with reverse swing as well, was really impressive. We should take a lot of heart and confidence from that into the rest of the series. But it was, I really did feel for him. He deserved 100 tonight, or tomorrow morning. But that's what happens when you play against good players. They can take wickets late on in the day, and the challenge will be to try and better that partnership that we got together. Try and better that tomorrow. Yeah, I knew coming into it, I'm feeling in good touch, and the game feels in a good place. And you've got to make the most of that. So I walked out there was a little bit of reverse, and it's really important that you start well against that. And more than anything, I just tried to build a partnership, try and work my way through that initial spell. I know that if I can just spend time out there, things will get easier, and just slowly try and construct an innings together, and much risk out of the game as possible. And thankfully, that all materialised nicely. Yeah, it did. I remember that for about, I think that should stay between the two of us and the group. But Ben's he's a fine human being, and it was really nice of him to go out his way to say some very special things that I'll hold dear forever. Yeah, I was a little bit emotional. I couldn't even remember our team when they asked me about it, so I was a little bit all over the place, but thankfully when I got out there I knew it was business as normal and I had a job to do. But the guys have made it very special for me, and I really appreciate everything. It's been it's been an amazing 2 days. So it'd be nice if we can really make this brilliant start count now, and we can build on what's a brilliant first day. Yeah, I mean, any side would welcome Ben with both arms back into the fold, and we certainly do. He's much more than the player that you got that people see on the screens. He's a leader with our team. He's got a huge heart and leaves everything out on the field for his teammates and for English cricket. So for him to be back is a real boost for all of us, and I'm excited to see him go about his work in the series. I can assure you this isn't a plug, but I invested in a Peloton, and I've been doing a lot of work on that. I've also been trying to follow the program that Phil Scott puts together for us, trying to make my back a little bit more manageable, and also to try and make my legs and backside a little bit stronger in particular. So a combination of those things has had a significant impact on my game, and I'll continue to keep trying to work at that side of improving my skill as a player. Yeah, I think it will definitely. You'll never know for sure, but there's been a number of things that I've tried to improve on, whether that be my mental approach to batting. Physically, I feel in as good a shape as I ever have. So it's really important that all of the amount of cricket that we have to play are physically in as better shape as we can be, and giving ourselves the best chance of being on the park as frequently as possible, and able to go and perform at our absolute best.